Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, and thank you very much for landing in here. As a teacher, I was always curious what is going on in the classroom next to me. And since I am here at the University of Warwick, the level of my curiosity is much more, and now I am curious what goes on in the classroom across the world. And this is why I'm thinking of arranging a series of videos where I plan to interview different friends of mine which are from different parts of the world, telling about their educational journey, how they learn as a student and how they are working as a teacher. To begin this journey, I have a very dear friend of mine, Faisal, who is from Bangladesh. So thank you very much for this interview, Faisal. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, so let's start. Please tell us more about yourself.
Hi, and my name is Faisal Arafat, and I'm from Dhaka, Bangladesh. I work as a civil servant there. I mean, we have some different cadres in civil service back in Bangladesh, so education is one of them. So being a member of the education cadre, I am kind of involved directly in the classroom teaching and also at the education administration. So you can say that I work in the classrooms also, or even behind in the desks in the policy makings or disseminations of the order of government, these sort of things.
Great.
And as you said it, you want to know about the what classroom experience have been in different parts of the world. So I can say that from my personal experience, I have had quite an interesting experience, an interesting journey. And why I'm saying that is that my father has also been a civil servant.
Great.
And for that, he used to have some frequent transfers at a regular interval. And from the start to my SSC, that is called the secondary school certificate, after 10th, standard 10th, we appear for the national exam. So in this journey, if I'm not wrong, I have had 7 schools.
Oh my God.
From the starting of standard 1 to standard 10 because of my dad's transfer to different places. So you can say that I have seen people from different parts of the country and have the good fortune to get mingled with people, learn from their experience and share my experience. Though we are a very small country, but things tend to be some different from one place to another.
True.
And I believe as a person also, it has made me like more resourceful and more accommodating to different thoughts of people. If I say about my education, then as far as I know, so far there is a little different with the system that is available in India if we compare to Bangladesh. The primary school still now in Bangladesh is like from standard 1 to standard 5. And from 6 to 10 is called the secondary education. And 11 and 12 is the higher secondary, and we call the higher secondary level as colleges back in Bangladesh. Okay. So though there are some changes in the policy are coming in the near future, government is rethinking this anyways. So I have had the experience in the earlier stages to study in some kindergarten schools also and the government primary institutions. So it's been quite a long time, but maybe I'll not be able to reflect all the things as accurately as I can. But things have been like this. If you want to ask that, like how has been my experience in the primary schools? So students from all sectors of society used to come to the government schools in those days. And we used to have a good mix of different students coming from different social backgrounds. And in those days, not nowadays, in those days, it may be somewhat like this. If somebody was to be a student of the kindergarten, it's somehow related to some more social solvency of their parents. In those days, didn't used to have so much kindergartens also. Nowadays it's like, you know, everywhere you have lots of kindergartens.
Yes.
So and the classrooms used to be big. There were lots of students in the classroom, and in the primaries, the medium of instruction in the government primaries in Bangladesh has always been Bangla, our mother language.
Wow.
So it's not been that you are instructing the students or communicating the students with any other language like English or something like this. And we have been a monolingual country, not like India that you have so many states there.
Yes.
And you need a common language to come to common grounds. So compared to the area also, we are a very small country. And English, though functionally it works as a second language, but officially it's not, it's still a foreign language. So there has been the dilemma for long. And as teachers, I don't remember that we had more than one teacher in the classroom for delivering lessons to us. It always used to be a single teacher in the classroom, in the primaries, in the secondary, in the higher secondary, everywhere.
Okay, so like a general teacher who teaches all subjects.
Not like that. I mean, in the primary, if I am not wrong, we used to have different teachers for different subjects.
Oh wow.
It was not like that one teacher dedicated to one section or one classroom who is teaching all the things to the students, like science, like maths, like new languages. No, I mean, we used to have one teacher for like for Bangla class, one for English class. Things used to be like this.
So as you said, there were subjects like Bangla, English. What other subjects were there?
Science was there, and used to be like a subject called in Bangla it used to be called Poribesh Porichiti or Somaj, something like social science and environment. We had you know, according to our religions, we had the religious education also, like the Islam Shikha or Hindu religion subject for the Hindu students also.
Okay.
Generally, these were the subjects at the primary level. And when you come to the secondary level, as I said, that from standard 6 to standard 10 used to be the secondary education. And back in our country, at the 9th standard, we had to choose the groups for future study, like you want to go for the science, you want to go for business studies or humanities.
Okay.
So 9 and 10, these 2 years used to be the secondary preparation for the secondary school certificate exam, and we used to be divided in the groups from 9th standard.
Okay.
I was a student of science group.
Great.
So and after passing my SSC, as I said that then higher secondary used to be the college education for us. I got admitted into college, and after 2 years from there, completing 12, the higher secondary HSC exam, you join the universities after that. After that, the tertiary level of education starts.
So again, a graduation of 3 years.
Graduation of 4 years and masters for 1 year. So
Okay.
the tertiary education, you can call that is 5 years.
Yeah.
And 4 years graduation makes you eligible to apply for any sort of jobs, even if you don't have the master degree. Okay. And so, as I said, you know, my SSC that I passed, it was a division called Sylhet. My father was posted there, and after that we moved to another district for my intermediate education. This has been a journey, and I would say that this has been an eventful journey for me. Still, when you talk to your friends, that you have lots of friends from different places, and people have gone to different places, it always gives you some good feeling, always, you know. And so, if you talk about my educational journey as a student, I can say that this has been something like
just one or two more questions.
Yeah,
Generally, when you say primary classes or secondary classes, how many students were there in a class?
For primary, maybe we used to have like 50 or 60 in the classroom.
Okay.
And the number remains this sort of similar. You know, you can have like 20 extra or 20 less. But in the higher secondary level, I would say that we had a staggering number of students in the classrooms.
Okay.
it used to be more than 100.
Ah, okay.
I mean, when I was a student, even at that time, I'm talking about as I have been a student of a government college. I'm telling from that perspective as a student.
Yeah.
More or less, this is the same scenario in every government college in Bangladesh.
Okay. And was that a co-educational school or?
I used to be a student of a co-education school in my higher secondary level. But there are institutions that are only for girls and for boys also, and co-education. So 3 streams are available in my country.
Okay. So like as you said, you were a student of government college.
Yeah.
So apart from government college, what other bodies are operating maybe at primary, secondary and tertiary level?
There are always the non-government colleges, some private colleges as we say that, and some institutions are there. They offer a lot more facilities, a lot more modern amenities, and they are kind of little expensive also.
Okay. So can we say that a general Bangladeshi student go to a government college most of the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting and that's good. What about vocational education like medical, engineering, something like that?
If you're asking about the vocational, there are the technical and vocational institutions in Bangladesh also.
Okay.
So if you want to go to that line of education, you have the options. But generally, if you ask about the overall education scenario, the number of people going for that sort of vocational education in the early stages is still quite low in Bangladesh.
Okay.
Students naturally go for the, like, I won't say the mainstream education. I don't want to make any distinction in that in like that, but the perception is like that even from the parents also.
Okay.
That their children should go to this general stream of education.
Okay. And like as in India, you can say like most of parents want their kids to be an engineer or a doctor.
Yes, there is same sort of expectation in my country also.
Okay.
Even I can tell from my own experience. My dad wanted me to be an engineer.
Okay.
I was never into it. I wanted to study literature. So, I mean, as I said that we had to choose groups in the 9th standard.
Yes.
They also, I did not wanted to go for the science education.
Yeah.
But, he had some expectations. So, and at that stage, at that age, you don't go for, what should I say? The confrontation becomes a heavy word. So I mean, he wanted me to see as an engineer.
Yeah.
But it did not click, and I did not want to.
Okay.
So finally, I'm happy that I studied English literature, and because of that, I'm here.
That's great. That's really great. Now coming to the tertiary and university level of education, like government, in addition to these government universities, are there private universities?
There are lots of private universities.
And
yes.
Generally, a common Bangladeshi student goes to these non-government universities?
Recently, a lot of students are joining the private universities. This has not been the scenario like quite a few years back. But if you ask the students, I can say that almost 100% of the students and the parents would say that they would go for the public universities.
Okay.
Okay, if you have got a chance in the public university, in a public institution in Bangladesh for the tertiary education, there is very little possibility that you go to the private universities.
Okay. So
and the private universities are also mostly centered to the big cities in Bangladesh.
Yes.
So if a student from the periphery wants to join the private university, he doesn't have that option. He or she needs to come to a big city and go to a private university. And expense is always an issue. We can't deny that,
of
right?
Of course, yeah, that's a big issue. So as I can see, generally we go to these Bangladeshi primary schools, secondary schools and colleges as a Bangladeshi parent. Apart from this mainstream education, what other streams are available? For example, I know about madrasa.
A madrasa, that you can also say that it is also a mainstream education. It's not something like that it's segregated from the mainstream.
Okay.
So as I said that you pass the SSC, the secondary school certificate. In the madrasa also there is called the Dakhil exam, and after that you join the HSC level. If I'm not wrong, it may be Alim called. So HSC is equivalent to that. And after that, we have lots of students coming from madrasas into the government universities in Bangladesh.
That's good.
And they are studying in different subjects. And if we try to categorize the subjects also in very good subjects.
That's good. That's great. So as you said, what subjects generally are taught in universities?
I think I won't be able to, give a very short answer to this question. Like, if you have a background of a science student at the higher secondary level, so for the universities, you generally go for engineering or medical, or the subjects that are recently in very much demand in the market. That becomes one of the major decisions for the students to choose or go for the subjects. And if you are placed at the top in the entry level exam for the universities, you get the subject of your choice. So if you're a student from the science background, it is very likely that a student, if does not get a seat in the engineering universities or in the medical colleges in Bangladesh, then in other universities he or she will go for the computer science, electrical engineering, biochemistry,
I
these
was the
sort of
same,
subjects. And for the humanities students, it's more like options can be limited. And we have one other system that if you are a student from one group and you want to change from that group to other. For me, I have been a student of science for both SSC and HSC, but after that I graduated from English language and literature. So if I want to join any universities, in most cases there is another unit called D unit. A unit is for the science, B unit is for the humanities students, C for the business studies. So like if I wanted to choose accounting, if I wanted to choose English from being a student of science background, I had to go for the D units.
Interesting. Okay. That's an interesting approach. Okay, now thank you very much for all your insights about being a student. Now let's focus on the shift. What are the courses that one has to do in order to become a teacher?
For me, as a member of the cadre service, I did not have to do any sort of course in there. But people in primary or in secondary level often go for the B.Ed and M.Ed education courses. I think you also know about these things. These are the professional things in there. And in the non-government institutions, if you want to join there as a teacher, there is an exam called the NTRCA exam operated by the government of Bangladesh. You need to pass that exam to be enlisted or eligible to join as a teacher in different institutions in Bangladesh.
Okay.
If you don't pass that exam, you will not be eligible. You will pass there according to your merit and according to your choice. If there are vacancies, your post will be allocated that you have been selected to join as a subject teacher in this very institution.
That's great. And is there such type of exam for professors as well?
No, not for professors as well. Things are a little different in my country. I would say that the university teachers are there. We, being the members of civil service in education cadre, are there. So as I said, that you can be posted to the colleges, you can be posted to different ministries, offices also. But again, then the promotion line for us is different from the university teachers.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, so there is a distinction in that case. And in the universities, different universities have different individual criteria for that. If you are going upwards in your service, you need to feel this and this.
Yeah, I get it. So now coming to your teacher as a career, So, when did you start working as a teacher, and how was your first experience?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that from since when I believe that I have started to think sensibly, I have always wanted to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have the experience of teaching different institutions in Bangladesh. I started in 2011. My first job as a teacher was in the cadet colleges in Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm.
It's some educational institutions run by the defense services in Bangladesh.
Great.
So I was posted in a institution called the Mirzapur Cadet College. So this was my first job, and a very good experience, I would say, that because cadet colleges are very reputed institutions in Bangladesh.
Nice.
So for shaping me as a teacher, gaining some experience, it had a real big value in my life. And after that, I joined some other private colleges in Bangladesh and finally joined the civil service in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that in between there is a 5-year period that I have worked in other institutions in Bangladesh. And when you join the civil service, there is also you get different postings in different institutions. So for maybe 2 years you are in this college, and after that you are somewhere else.
Yeah.
So this has been also an interesting experience. I would say that because I have worked in the very urban area, and I have had the privilege to work for some very privileged institutions where students are coming from the upper class of the society.
Yes.
And at the same time, when I joined the civil service, I was posted to very remote areas of Bangladesh also. So you get the students who are coming from those sort of areas.
Yeah.
So as a teacher, I would say that this is a very valuable experience. I mean, it gives you the perspective of how the students are thinking from different areas and different classes of the society. And most often the ambition for all of them is the same. And it makes you more human as a teacher also. You try to connect with the students and try to be a good guide and companion for them.
So, generally, when you are working as a teacher, how many colleagues used to be there with you working?
It depends, actually. It depends. And there are people from other subjects also.
Yeah.
So the number can vary from very small to very large.
Okay.
In a government college, you have lots of subjects and more than one teacher for every subject. So say, for example, if you have 10 subjects and on an average you have 3 or 4 teachers for that, you might have 40 to 50 colleagues in altogether. But if you're asking for the Department of English that I have worked in, like different institutions, educational institutions, the number might vary from somewhere around 4 to 5. Or it can happen that you are the only teacher for that subject also in an institution. That has happened to me also.
Okay. And most of your working as a teacher was at higher secondary and secondary?
Higher secondary, not even secondary, higher secondary and tertiary.
Okay. So when you look back on your career as a teacher, what recent good initiatives you can think of?
It might sound a bit cliched, but these days you are not a student of any particular area or a country. The global thing has somehow infused in our life. And being a teacher of English, some initiatives have been taken in the curriculum to make the students more exposed to the global scenario, to make them skilled global citizens, if we call that.
Yeah.
And these very things are clearly reflected in the education policy of Bangladesh also. And very recently, the newest curriculum that has been, drafted and has started to get implemented in the higher secondary level. The intercultural communicative competence things has also been included in the subject of English. So this is more likely that government is trying and thinking to give bigger exposure to students, bringing these ideas. But there are challenges. I won't say that it's very easy that you think and you can start implement like this. It's not. But trainings are there for the teachers, so hopefully it works. There's nothing like, no problem with the intention, but you learn with your experience when you try to do something.
True. So this addition of intercultural thing and being a global citizen, you would call these two as good initiatives?
Of course. And if I say that why I'm here, see, I have seen so many people from so many different countries after coming here at the University of Warwick. And I'm here with a government scholarship offered from the Prime Minister's Office of Bangladesh.
That's great.
And when I have got this scholarship, I had to convince my government through a presentation that what the takeaway would be for me from here. This is an investment for my government on me.
Yeah.
So I am coming here like I'm talking to you, learning from your experience that how education has been in your country, and you being yourself a teacher, the things how has been there. And many of us have worked as teacher or are working as teachers here in my cohort in the MNT Seoul. So when I'm talking to a person from India, when I'm talking to a person from Malaysia, when I'm talking to a person from Brazil or from any other country in Africa, and we have lots of Chinese friends here, of course. So you get the idea that these are the things that are happening in different parts of the world. And when you go back, you can share your experience. That it's not only the academics, rather I would say that the meta academics becomes more important for you.
Exactly, very true. And I'm happy that your government is looking at you as an asset.
Yes, I'd like to say that, this is a very good initiative from my government. I would say that it's been like for last few years that every year somewhere around 40 among us are given the scholarship for the master's level. And even for PhD level, somewhere around 10 people are given the funding from the government. Okay. And Prime Minister's scholarship is just one. We have some other options also.
Yes, indeed. So thank you very much for sharing all these insights. I hope we learn a lot many things from the insights from Bangladesh. And thank you very much for giving a sneak peek at what happens in the classroom in Bangladesh. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Thank you for inviting me.